Today we're doing lesson 11.1, 3D figures and nets. Essential question, how do you use nets to represent three-dimensional figures? A solid figure is a three-dimensional figure because it has three dimensions, length, width, and height. Solid figures can be identified by the shapes of their bases and the number of bases and the shapes of their lateral faces. So as we talked about, prisms and pyramids are what we're talking about. This also shows that a vertex is a point where sides meet. Edges are where a base meets a lateral face. And then we have bases and lateral faces, and this would be a triangular prism. A designer is working on the layout for the cereal box shown. Identify the solid figure and draw a net that the designer can use to show the placement of information and artwork. So we're going to use this as an because I don't have a cereal box handy. We're going to use this. How many bases are there? Two, top and bottom. Okay, so there's two bases. Are the bases congruent? The same size?
Yes.
Is that the same size as that? Yes. What shape are the bases?
Rectangles.
Rectangles. So write that down. Recall that a prism is a solid figure with two congruent parallel bases. Its lateral faces are rectangles, and it is named for the shape of its bases. Is this cereal box a prism?
Yes.
Yes. What shape are the bases? Rectangles. So the box is a rectangular prism. Okay. Next they want us to draw a net for the figure. A net is a two-dimensional figure, so it just has two dimensions, length and width, that can be folded into a solid figure. Make a list of the shapes you will use. So what will we use for the top and the bottom bases? Or in this case,
Rectangles.
Rectangles. What would we use for the left and right faces?
Rectangles.
And the front and back?
Rectangles.
Okay, so this figure is made up of a total of 6 rectangles because you have the top and bottom, you have the left and right, top and bottom bases, left and right faces, and the front and back faces, and all of them are rectangles. So that means the net that we draw needs to have 6 rectangles. And that's all that's really required. This is an example, and when these top and bottom of this are more like square shaped, but this would be an example of a net that we could draw. We would just extend these squares out and make them into rectangles. So that's what we're going to draw. We're going to draw a figure similar to this because they've given us one example, but we need to draw another. So to start with, we're going to draw 4 rectangles connected, and then rectangles coming out from each side. They don't have to be in a T shape. They can be like that as well. Okay, So you need to draw a net. A pyramid is a solid figure with a polygon-shaped base and triangles for lateral faces. Like prisms, pyramids are named for the shape of their base. A pyramid with a rectangle for a base is called a rectangular pyramid. And they've given us an example here. You can see that the base is a rectangle, and each of the faces coming up from the four sides of the base are triangles. Identify and draw a net for this solid figure. What is the shape of the base? A triangle. So that's what we're going to write here. And what are the three lateral face shapes? Triangles. So what is this figure? Triangular pyramid. Now we have to draw a net. Shapes to use in the net. What are we going to use for the base? A triangle. And what are we going to use for the lateral faces? Triangles. Now they want us to draw a net, and so an example of a net for a triangular pyramid would be this, where it's a large triangle made up of four smaller triangles. Okay, so when you put it together, it makes a triangle on the bottom and then three triangular faces. So here we go. We need to draw a big triangle. And then that is pretty bad. All right, hold on. I'm gonna try again.
Looks good to me.
It does.
Don't you use the straight edge thing?
Yeah, I probably should. Oh, wait, that'll work. Four triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Identify and sketch the solid figure that can be formed by the net. So this time they're giving us the net and we have to form a solid figure from it. The net only has blank triangles. How many triangles do you see?
2.
2. So it cannot be a pyramid. Pyramid is made up of 3 or more triangle faces. The triangles must be the blank,
The base?
the base, for a, what shape? Triangular prism. That's what that net is for. The triangles have to be the base for, since there's only 2 of them, and this is a triangular prism. Okay, now we have to they didn't leave us a space to sketch it. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to copy the next problem. This is the longest answer that we have to copy. It says, compare the bases and lateral faces of prisms and pyramids. This is hugely important. This sums it all up. The bases of pyramids and prisms are both shaped like polygons, but prisms have 2 bases and pyramids only have 1 base. The faces of prisms are rectangles and the faces of pyramids are triangles. I'll give you a minute to copy that down and then we're going to move on because we're doing the whole thing together. And if you don't get it finished, I'll put it up at the end when we start getting with our groups and you can finish copying it down then. They do actually want us to draw a three-dimensional triangular prism. If you can do it, go for it.
My hands will stop moving.
I'll put that back up at the end. So you go draw a little triangle, or kind of a skinny triangle first. Then you draw a line that goes kind of backwards. And then from this side, another line that goes backwards. And then back here, you draw another triangle. And then back here is a dotted line. Alright, that's as good as it's gonna get. Okay. Like I said, if you didn't get that finished, I'll put it back up at the end. Okay. Identify and draw a net for the solid figure. Okay, so we have, what shape is the base? Or it's hard to, it looks like a square, but on here it tells me it's a rectangle, so I'm just gonna put slash rectangle. How many lateral faces are there and what shape are there? Are they? 4 triangles. And so what would this figure be?
Your rectangular.
A rectangular pyramid or a square pyramid. We'll just write rectangular pyramid. What is the figure on number 2? A cube. And we have to draw a net on both of those. So on the net for number 1, I'm going to draw a square. And then put 4 triangles connected to each side.
It's a ninja star.
Pretty terrible one. For a cube, how many faces are there on a cube?
6.
6. So I'm gonna draw a net that looks just like this with 4 squares and a line. One, 2, 3, 4, and then squares on each side. identify and sketch the solid figure that could be formed by the net. So what figure could be formed by this net? A pyramid, and it would be what base? Triangular pyramid. So triangular pyramid. And the way that you draw a triangular pyramid is you kind of draw an upside down kite. So you've got a long side, a short side, a short side. So that's your starting point. And then, let me see, I got it from over here. Then you draw a straight line down and a dotted line across. So a straight line from top to bottom, and then a dotted line across. And that is the You did it? Okay. So long line, short line, solid line, dotted line. Okay, triangular pyramid. Next we have to do a cube, and the kids in Mr. D's class taught me how to draw a cube. So you draw a box or a square, and then another square, and then connect them. 1, 2, 3, 4.
What'd you do?
Yeah.
I'll show you on here.
So
So this is a cube. This is a cube because it has 6 squares. So to draw a 3D cube, you draw a square, and then you draw another square overlapping the first one, and then you connect them with 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines, 4 lines. Boom. Okay. And I'll put all this up at the end. I'm moving kind of fast, I know. Identify and draw a net for the solid figure. What is the solid figure on number 5? I'm going to pull a stick to have you tell me. Ian.
Rectangular prism.
Not a rectangular. What's the base?
Oh. Triangular prism.
There you go. Triangular prism. This is a triangular prism. Skylar, I've written this 3 times today. You'll survive. Oh, you'll survive. Okay. All right, here we go. So triangular prism is going to look like, no, do I have one?
No. Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's the square one, I think. No, not the square one. Or red one. Yeah, the red one with like the squares, but what, maybe rectangles?
Yes. Yes, there it is. Yes, that is. So the net is going to look like this. It's going to have 3 rectangles, or in this case squares, and 2 triangles. That's right. So 3 rectangles. And then I'm going to put a triangle here and a triangle here.
Could you put like, never mind.
Okay. You could, yep, this one has them in the middle. So here's the thing, guys, this could be connected right here, or this one could be connected right here, and it would all fold up the same. Okay, next we have, what is this figure? Let me pull a stick for you to tell me what this figure is. Wyatt Mobley. So first, is it a pyramid or a prism?
Prism.
That's a prism. And what is its base? Probably a rectangle. Look what it's sitting on. No. See, that's more of a rectangle. The base that it's sitting on, or this, or this, these are, it kind of looks square, but I think it's supposed to be a rectangle. Does that make sense? I mean, it's a rectangular prism. So we put them together. Rectangular prism. Now we have, and this is the one, this is like the cereal box. So here's an example of the net that we can draw. 4 rectangles stuck together. With a rectangle, with rectangles sticking out on either side. That will make the sides of it. What?
This phone. It has something on it.
It's still going, I think. Thank you, Casey. Okay. And then we're gonna go over here to the last page. Okay. What figure is that?
Cube.
A cube. And then we're gonna draw a net of a cube, which is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4. With the square on the left and a square on the right.
You did the right person.
I know. All right, and then over here, they want us to draw the net for this. What is this figure? Shout it out. What's the base?
Rectangular pyramid.
It is a, look at the base first. It is a rectangular pyramid. So we've got, it's made up of 4 triangles and 1 rectangle. So we're going to do a rectangle here and triangles coming out from each side. Okay, what is this figure? First ask yourself, is it a pyramid or a prism? A prism. And what are the bases of the prism?
Triangle.
Triangles. So this is a triangular prism.
You look at it for a while. It looks weird.
Yeah.
It's like, which way does it go?
Yeah.
I guess they call it so cool.
A lot of them are like optical illusions. Okay, and then the net for this would have 3 rectangles with 2 triangles on the sides. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hobby's candles are sold in a triangular pyramid shape. Triangular pyramid shaped boxes. How many triangles are needed to make one box? 4. Nina used plastic rectangles to make 6 rectangular prisms. How many rectangles did she use? So she's making 6 of these.
24.
36.
36. 6 times 6?
Oh, those are squares though.
Squares can be a
A
rectangle.
square is a rectangle.
Yeah, same thing.
Square can be a rectangle.
Because 2 squares make a
Rectangle can't-
rectangle.
Okay, so 36. Nice try to cover for your mistake.
Those are squares though.
Are they?
Yes.
But in order to, so a rectangular prism, I don't have one that has rectangles on the side, but if I did, that would be what Nina used. And so
So for you, those
every rectangular prism has 6 sides. So if she makes 6 of them, it's going to be 36 rectangles. Okay, I'm going to stop the video
we ever do philosophy?